I think other than looking at life the way it really is, you know, there is a reality, and then there's that other portion of it that says, well, maybe I can get around it. And I don't like getting around it. I like attacking and clearing and then going on, which gives you your plateaus, I think. I happen to believe in me very, very strongly. I know my limitations, and I also know what I do well.
One of the obstacles that I think you had to overcome, which was a very, very difficult one, was when Burt Bacharach and Hal David broke up, and suddenly you and their relationship went into tremendous turmoil. What was that period like for you?
It was difficult. It was very, very difficult. I had an incredible, long relationship with Burt and Hal. And they were my songwriter-producers for a period of almost 15 years. And all of a sudden, they weren't there. It was like being a fish out of water. I was very disturbed about it because I kind of got the drift of what was happening in the same way most of the media got it. I read it in the newspaper. And my father, in fact, had called me a week prior to it happening, actually, and said that it was a scuttlebutt in New York. And I said, Daddy, please. And if that were the case, you know, I'd be the first to know. No. And so I was really very, very, I was hurt more than anything else. I had no recourse. I had to sue them. And they were in total breach of contract at that time. I won the suit. And subsequently, in a period of 11 years lapsed, where literally we did not speak one word to each other. And just recently, this year, I tell you, everything's so wonderful.
I know, Burt's come back into your life.
Yeah,
How did that happen?
He wrote a song, he and Carol wrote the song for Finders of Lost Loves, Aaron Spelling's show. And Aaron thought nobody could sing it but me, so Burt had to call.
Did you recognize his voice?
Not immediately. He, in fact, said, Dionne, yeah, this is Burt. And honestly, I said, Burt who? He says, it's me, Charlie. I said, well, Charlie is something that we use occasionally for endearment. And it's a nickname that we kind of throw around when we want to just speak to each other and not anybody else. And he told me about the song, and he wanted to come over, and he did. What should have taken literally 10 minutes at that thing over the piano floor, setting the key and everything else. Ended up being 3 hours. We laughed, and we cried a little bit, and he just had a sing-song kind of thing going on. In fact, Carol called and said, where's my husband? I said, yeah, he's kidnapped. Come on down, yeah. It was wonderful. It really was. It was almost as if nothing had ever happened. And that means that the love and respect and caring that was always there never left. It was just the outside innuendos and time, probably one of the most important things that if we use it correctly.
Time has a way of healing lots of
wonderful.
things.
It's wonderful.
During this period, though, you did hit another valley, personally speaking.
Yeah.
Your dad died.
Yes, he did.
And your mom had a stroke as a result. It had to be a very difficult, tough time.
It was tough. I thought for a period of time that if this is the last test, am I passing? You know, hey, Charlie, you know, I called out Charlie. I said, what have I done? And just one thing was compounding another and upon another and another. It was hard. It was hard. I miss my daddy a lot. He was probably my best friend in the world. But he's still floating around sometimes, you know, because I know I open my mouth and he usually says, wait a minute, think. And I do. So it's not like he's really gone. He's still lurking about, keeping his eye on me, because I have to be kept an eye upon, believe me.
Most of the songs that you have sung, and the ones that remain with all of us, and the new ones that you're even singing today, are really about unrequited love, about rejection. And when you sing them, it's like you have made such an unbelievable personal connection to the lyrics and the music,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't think that you are just singing words.
No.
I think that these have come from actual experiences.
Well, in the beginning, I must say that I was too young to go through all those wild experiences that Hal David wrote about. But as time progressed, and as I grew older, and as I began to experience some of the things that I sang about, that's when the reality of what I was singing took hold, and you're absolutely right. I'm not just singing words, I'm singing, I'm drawing it from something that either I have experienced or someone close to me has and has related it to me. So it's always something that has happened.
Can you remember what the first song was that you suddenly knew that this was more than just singing words that Hal David had written, but this had now become a personal connection between you and the songs that were there?
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I certainly can. I think the first time I ever thought I had a broken heart was during the framework of time that Bert and Hal were writing the music for Promises, Promises. And there's a song that they wrote called Whoever You Are, I Love You, which basically just spells out that you continually change. And I don't know how to catch up with you most of the times, and it's driving me crazy. So, I mean, tell me something. And that was a very, very trying time for me. And it was the first time I really totally related to a lyric. So that was the early
What was happening?
mid-60s. I was married, and well, I mean, it's drama in everybody's marriage. You know, it's up and it's down, and it's round and it's sideways. And my marriage was, it was a good marriage for as long as it lasted. We were married for 12 years. But it had a lot of little pitfalls going for it. Unfortunately, I was the star of the family, and it's a very difficult thing for a male ego to accept in any case. We tried very, very hard to make that work. I was Mrs. Elliott, and that was the way I was approached, and all invites that came to us was in that realm. Anything that didn't get accepted. So, I mean, all the effort I'd made on my part to make him feel secure, I thought was enough. And unfortunately, it just wasn't. So I stopped doing those things. I just started being me. And I found now that for the period of time that Dionne and I have been together, I don't have to be anybody else. I don't have to try to do anything else other than be me. And that's the reason he adores me.
Is this Dionne Russo? How long have you been together?
It's our 12th year.
You've been 12 years together now?
12 years. It's very special. We have something wonderful. We share the same birthday. We share an awful lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you see this little twinkle.
This little, after 12 years.
Yeah, it's getting better and better.
You must have a great deal of almost like a sly little feeling saying, well, here I am, I'm back on solid gold again, and after what happened, being fired the way I was in 1981, and this must give you kind of great satisfaction.
Yeah, you know, that was a very strange situation. My contract was up, you know, so it wasn't that I was fired. That's the first thing, so that should clarify that. Secondly, my attorney and their attorneys were renegotiating my contract for the following year. So I found out about it again, like everybody else did. I read it in this Creeps column out of Chicago. And I called my attorney and said, I just read something that's very interesting. I said, what's going on? And he assured me that he was still working with their attorney. And then all of a sudden I saw Andy Gibbs' name brought up, and then I saw Marilyn McClue's name brought up, and I said, you know, something must be real about this whole thing. And finally, we got word that we were not doing the show. And the explanation that was given to me was that they wanted to change the look of the show. So I just said, okay, that's fine. And yeah, it did my heart a lot of good to know that they had to pick up the phone and said, guess who we need? And that element called time again.
Are there worlds you haven't conquered yet that you would like to conquer?
Oh, yeah. There's still the Tony, the Oscar, and the Emmy.
Well, on that note, I think I will say, Dionne, it's been wonderful talking with you. Thank you so much for allowing me into your home
It's
today.
my pleasure.
And continued good success.
Thank you.